Well, hi guys. I'm really happy to be here with you. Thank you very much for coming. My name is Joaquin Figueroa. I have had the opportunity to develop strategic partnerships across different industries: energy, petrochemicals, construction, transportation, hospitality, and also in different countries: Mexico, US, and Europe. I really appreciate that you came. So I have two presents for you, but this is going to be given at the end of the presentation. One is here. The way you're going to win this is just, I'm going to talk in this presentation, and at the end I'm going to ask a question. Whoever answers first, well, by raising their hand, you're going to have the present. And then we're going to talk about the other present. And you know, partnerships is about connections. It's about meeting people. It's about trying to get together with people. So, in order to know each other, I will kindly ask you to present yourself saying three things. One, your name, the industry you are working in, and the last question is why you came to this presentation. What was the motive? Can we start with you, please?
Good afternoon. My name is Flores. I work in the finishing industry for automotive, and I come to learn more about the growing, in both countries.
Okay, why did you came to the presentation?
To learn more about growing in both.
Okay, sorry. Thank you. Please.
Yes, I'm Jesse Hernandez from San Antonio. I work in the tech space. I'm a software developer for a startup in San Antonio. What brought me here to Joaquin's presentation, partnerships. I think the big thing that I've heard a lot, this weekend here in Brownsville has been just partnerships in general. There's a lot of different business ecosystems, businesses, health, for example, that are trying to find a way, like how does the health industry, who has a vision for like adding tech to their mix, like how do they partner up with, say, some local like tech communities, or how can we find that community, and how can we talk and align and try to figure out a way where both parties win? So partnerships.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Welcome. Please.
Hi, my name is Francis Garcia. I am currently the founder of Texas EdTech Review, and so we purposely are building strategic partners with the school districts and also with EdTech companies to ensure that they match and align their goals with where school districts want to be, but also ensuring that EdTech companies have the right tools to enter the Texas market. So partnerships to us is huge.
Thank you very much.
My name is Sarah Atsuki, and I'm the founder of Kita Web3 Recruiting. So we're a global staffing agency specializing in emerging tech. So we've 80% of our business is in blockchain and artificial intelligence companies. I wanted to come here to really learn more about strategic partnerships. I think 2 years ago I would have wanted to start here and learn from the experts versus making my own mistakes. So just want to fine-tune what strategic partnerships look like moving forward as we scale.
Okay, thank you for coming. Please.
My name is Jessica Tapia. I'm a licensed massage therapist and a medical massage practitioner, and the reason why I wanted to come to this is because to help my clients get the best out of their goals, I'm going to need to work with other departments, naturopathic doctors, acupuncturists, chiropractors, and I do work with all types of ailments, so sometimes you need something out of the medical scope, and I want to see what other ways I can help my clients.
Thank you. Please.
So my name is Gael Ramirez. The thing I want to do for a business is make my own shoe company that would help the disabled, the elderly, with since I feel like most shoes don't really help with that, and I want to make it hands-free. And why I came to the session, I feel like I need a partner, because I feel like partnerships are very important to actually grow and multiply your business.
Thank you very much. Please.
My name is Douglas Best. The industry is mostly education, medical, and technology. And the reason I'm here is I'm very interested in expanding our capabilities with international partnerships.
Right. Thank you for coming.
Miguel Martinez, General Construction.
Okay.
The reason I'm here because I want to be able to continue developing partnerships and within my industry. If you don't have partnerships, it is hard to really grow. And so I want to be able to, be an expert in that, and also to keep growing our company.
Okay, welcome.
My name is Armando Hernandez, the founder of RGV Group. We specialize in employee benefits, so we work with different brokers, with different companies, and I'm a firm believer of partnerships, and I wanted to learn more from Joaquin. That I know that you are a very knowledgeable person, professional, and that's what I'm here for, to learn how to improve in that aspect.
Thank you very much, Armando. Thank you for coming.
Aime Castro, I'm the owner of GIS Solutions. We meet the gap in GIS. And the reason I came here because I do believe in strategic partnership, but also in the relationships that you build with those partnerships. So at the end of the day, they're the ones that are going to make your business thrive. So I want to learn more.
Thank you. Thank you very much for coming.
María Cantú en GIS Solutions y soy parte de la compañía.
Okay, great. Well, welcome. Well, now that you know more about the people in the room, you might find a partner today. So, because you know the industries, you know the name, so maybe you can develop some connections. No? So that's the way partnerships develop. It's about meeting, connecting, and finding a vision or a goal that is common, is shared by the people involved in a partnership. But, well, for this presentation, I want to split the session in 3 sections. We're going to talk about the rationale. Why do we get into partnerships? Then the mindset in order to try to make successful partnerships. And then we're going to elaborate a little bit on the stories that are behind the partnerships. So why do we partner? Can you kindly help me to read the phrase, please?
If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
What does that mean to you?
It means that if I want to get somewhere fast, you just sprint and go by yourself. But if you want to go far and be an impact, you have to be surrounded with other people. And those people, not because they want to, but because of the collaboration, they're going to kind of hold you a little bit back, but at the same time, you're going to make a big impact the way.
Who agrees with the meaning of this phrase? Please raise your hand. Do you agree with this, or do you think this is not true? Everybody? Well, there are some people that it seems that they don't agree with this hope that at the end of the presentation we can bring more people in this side of the partnership mindset. And one of the foundations in order to get a partnership, you have been in maybe developing a business, or you have developed a business in the past. How many times in your mind this has come as a message, something that you are dealing with? Maybe you are facing the uncertainty and you don't know what kind of decisions you need to make. Or maybe there's an opportunity there, but you don't know how to analyze the opportunity, how to make it happen. Or sometimes you don't have enough time in order to assess the opportunity. You don't have the expertise because, to be honest, we have to acknowledge and we have to be very humble that you don't know everything. We don't know everything, and every single day we need to learn. Also, the environment, the context change, and you have to adjust. So, what do you think? Is it easier to face these challenges alone, or to have someone to help you? So in some way that seems to have some rationale in order to get together and develop a partnership. And in a natural way, every day of our life, we develop partnerships. When we want to have a plan with someone, well, we partner in order to make this plan. Or whenever we want to create a business or develop a business, maybe we are the founder, but we acknowledge that we are missing some kind of capabilities that we need another person. So we invite another person to be a co-founder, no? And that's when a partnership starts to develop. And there are kind of informal partnerships and more formal partnerships. The diagram that I am presenting here is a simplified process on how to develop a partnership. This can be more complex, but for the purpose of these presentations, let's think about 4 stages. One is partner selection. We need to choose a partner. So is it easy to choose a partner? Well, there are some things that we need to look at before choosing a partner. Otherwise, we're going to find out that we make a mistake. Most of the times, when we talk about partnerships, the best example that we can have in everyday life is marriage. Marriage is something that is very similar to partnership. You find someone, you get together with someone, you start a relation, and later on, well, if it gets formal, you get married. No? And that's a partnership. And that's a partnership in a contract. By law, this is a partnership. No? And then, well, things start to change. Maybe you have kids, and the partnership starts to strengthen, and there's another objective, another goal, to raise the kids, the family. And if it goes well, the marriage is forever. But sometimes, well, marriage doesn't work. And then it comes, we need to split, we need to depart from the plans. No? So partner selection is a very important part of the process. And let's say that you manage to choose a partner. And then you have to negotiate and structure the agreement, go into the terms and conditions, and then once you have an agreement, that you reach an agreement, you go into execution or implementation. Okay, you go to this phase, you start to work in the partnership, achieve some results, but then you have to assess the performance of the partnership, and then this process goes backwards, because you have to review the previous stage, make some adjustments, go back to the previous stage, make some adjustments, and then go back and go back and go back, and continue with the partnership, the time you need to have this partnership. There are too many ways to classify partnerships. Again, for the purpose of this session, we're going to categorize in 4 categories. One is growth partnerships. The other one is technology partnerships. We have also the operational partnerships and the financial partnerships. We're going to provide some examples when we arrive to the slides of the stories. We're going to come back to this. And if you remember the simplified process or simplified framework, we need to choose a partner. There are too many characteristics of a partner, no? And we can think of a very extended list, but let's keep in mind these 3 core characteristics or attributes for a partner. One, that is very important, we have to have a vision, something that we see in the future, and we have to share this vision with our partner or our partners, because that's the way we can see that that's something that we are in the same page and aligned in order to get into this goal. Also, we have to look at the strengths of our potential partner, because we are lacking certain kind of skills, certain kind of knowledge, and we need to complement this knowledge with the strengths of our partner. But something that is also very important is about the incentives and drivers of the partnership. What my partner is looking from the partnership? What is he looking? What is he expecting from me? What is he expecting from the business? And we need to develop trust, because at some point we're gonna split the roles. Each partner is gonna have certain function within the organization, within the business, and we have to rely in the other person to do the things that we wanted or we agreed to do. This is when we are talking about a partner, a person, but also this is elevated between companies, organizations, And the thing becomes more complex because now we are not talking with one person, we are talking with an organization that has a culture and another way to work. Another thing that is very important is to look at the reputation, the credibility of the partner. What is the kind of reputation that he has in the industry, if we are in the same page, and something that is very important is maybe that he can bring a network that can speed up the process of developing a business. And there's a mindset, because something that has been studied in the academic world and in the statistics that are available from partnerships, is that success rate for partnerships is not too high. So meaning that some of them have faced some failure, and these are the kind of mindset that get us closer to achieving a successful partnership. One is to have clear objectives. And these objectives has to be measured in some way. So we need to have the same understanding with our partner, how we are going to develop, or what is the understanding of success. Success is a very subjective phrase, word, and the way we think about success maybe is not the way other people think about success. So this has to be talked, discussed, and agreed with your partner in order to find the right metrics in order to measure success. The other thing that we were talking about, it was about the role and responsibilities of each of the partners. That's very important. Who does what? What I am responsible of doing and achieving, and this is connected with the success metrics, yeah? Because that's the way we're going to split the work or the tasks that are needed in order to have success in our business. The other thing that we need to agree is how we are going to measure the economic performance of the partnership and how we are going to split the benefits of this partnership. This is something that is very important in order to prevent to have some disagreements with our partner in the future. The most important recommendation is always to have something written, because that's the way, when time passes, that we can go back and again review the understanding that we had at the beginning of the partnership, and in some way, this is the way we can avoid or prevent further discussions in during the agreements. Sometimes when we get into a partnership, there's intellectual property ownership. And maybe this goes to one of the partners. Also, this is something that is important to have in written, because the ownership of the partner has to be acknowledged and recognized in the agreements. Again, it's about preventing in the future to have a conflict that might end up the partnership. Another thing that is very important to look at when you are getting into a partnership is that at some point you might want to exit the partnership. So that's something that also has to be spoken since the beginning. And the other thing is that whenever we go into a business, we're going to face a lot of issues, and at some point there are going to emerge conflicts. So a process for the resolution of these conflicts is very important to have included in the agreements, to have a discussion with the partners and say, well, if we get into this point, we are going to handle the situation in this way. And this is going to be in written, and whenever it happens, there's a trigger, there's a driver that is going to activate the conflict. Well, we can go back and say, well, we're going to go into these steps in order to try to solve the conflict on the benefit of the partnership. Again, thinking in the long-term vision. The other stage that we talk about in the simplified process was about the negotiation part. And whenever we negotiate, we have to keep in mind, and this goes for all the partners involved, the long-term value. The long-term value has to be greater than the emotions embedded during the time that we have the discussions. Okay, we don't agree in this. On the one hand, we have the conflict resolution process. We have to go into this. But let's not forget about the long-term value, what we want to achieve. And sometimes you have to maybe agree or disagree in certain things with your partner. But at the end, if the decision is on the benefit of the partnership, because this is going to bring you long-term value, well, that's when you have to say, well, let's go in this direction, because this is on the benefit of the partnership. Another way to think about the partnership when you are negotiating is about thinking that this is not a zero-sum game, meaning that the loss of your partner doesn't have to be the benefit of you. You don't have to win against the loss of your partner and the other way around. When you get into a partnership, and we have spoken about this in the previous slides, it's about trying to achieve something bigger, something that is going to reduce the cost, so it's going to be a greater benefit, or something that is going to be achieved faster. So by achieving this faster, maybe the benefit is going to be bigger. So benefits are going to be bigger, so these benefits should be enough in order to satisfy the motives and the drivers of each of the partners. So you don't have to worry about getting more, because this is going to be bigger. Yeah? You have to think that your partner is not your enemy. The other way around. The success of your partner is your success, and at the end is the success of the partnership. But if you don't think in that way, everything is going to start to fall. And something that is very important, because we talk about responsibilities, you need commitment. You need a commitment from yourself to your partner, and the other way around. That's something that is very important, because at the end, things are going to get worse at some point. Everything is not pink, and you're going to pass a lot of things that are going to be very difficult. So you have to go back into the mindset of the partnership. What brought you to do the partnership? And think about the long-term value. There are too many factors when you look at performance that can have an impact in your partnership. This analysis emerged from my PhD on strategic alliances. The size of the world was the number of times that the people that I interviewed that says this is an issue while you are doing a partnership. And if you look at this kind of at the words that are written here, there are some words that are related with something that we can control. But there are some others that go out of our control, and they are related more with the context, maybe with the things that are happening in the world that affects the partnership. Because again, at the end, it's a business, no? And there are some things that are very straightforward, and we can measure it very, very, very easy. But there are some others that is very difficult to measure. For instance, how do you measure culture? Culture is a very important thing in a partnership, because if we think at the company level, imagine at the company level, well, at the person level, when we think different and we are not very into the mindset of change, we fix a position and we don't want to move from there. Well, if you raise this to the company level, a company that is big, that has a big size, a certain amount of employees, that has been in the market for X amount of years, 10, 20, 30 years, the more time it has been in the market, the more time it has been operating the company, the culture is stronger. So imagine when you have a conflict with a culture that is completely different from your culture. It sounds that it's going to be very complex to arrive to a solution that is going to be on the benefit of the partnership. But again, if you go back to the agreements, if you go back to the spirit of the partnership, you can find out that the partnership has to go in this direction because this is the long-term vision that we agreed from since the beginning. Another thing that is very difficult to measure is trust. How do you measure trust? Sometimes trust is very subjective. You didn't say what I was expecting that you to hear, and then the trust disappears. It's very interesting that some of these words, for instance, leadership and trust, and I told you that the size of the word was the number of times that the persons repeat this word, are smaller. Look at trust. It's one of the smallest words here. But having said that, this factor has an impact in other kind of factors. No? For instance, if you don't have trust, then the alignment is gonna be jeopardized, because you don't think that whatever your partner is saying, you cannot rely on that, and that's when the conflicts start to emerge. As I was telling you, partnerships are stories, and I really like this painting, because from my perspective, it represents the everyday life of a partnership. You have an objective, and if you can look at the guy at the front, you know, he's pointing into certain direction. This is the vision. We are going here. Well, at some point, things start to happen, and people are struggling, are working hard in terms of finding the right direction, but things are not easy, and it's becoming something that is a challenge. But on the other hand, if you look at the world, at the pink wall, it seems that everything can be better off.